Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, most merciful. Hello and welcome to a new episode of Teaching English on Dروس Super Goal 6. Before we start, we would like to welcome Mr. Fawaz Al-Aqil, the interpreter to the sign language. As always, we start our class by reviewing the plan or the objectives that we are planning to achieve, inshallah, at the end of this class. First, students will be able to use can, could, will, would for requests. Students also will be able to use imperative for commands. At the end also, students will be able to report requests and commands. Now we are at the last class in this unit, Unit 2, Drive Slowly. And you know that Section 12 in this unit is Form, Meaning, and Function. Okay? This is the unit, the section that we are going to study today. Now, before you start, you have to be well prepared. You have to prepare yourself, preparing your book, your pen, and your notebook, and find a quiet place to stay in and to avoid distractions from anybody else. And you need to follow these instructions as usual. Okay, before we start our main class of today, we make a quick revision on the previous lesson that we took in the previous lesson. You remember in the previous lesson we studied how to write, not persuasive actually, it is an argumentative writing. Okay, argumentative writing, how to argue an idea and how to defend it in your writing. First, you need to realize that when you write, you need to be careful about some skills. The first one is the vocabulary, as we mentioned before in the previous lesson, and also grammar. You need to make a good grammar. You write your sentences correctly in a correct grammar. Also, you need to watch your spelling, how to spell words correctly, your punctuation, how to start with a capital letter, to leave enough space among words, and to end your sentence with a full stop or with a question mark or with exclamation mark. It depends on what kind of sentence you are writing. These are the punctuation marks. And also you need to write very good handwriting. Okay. Also, before you write, when you want to write any topic, you need to make brainstorming, the steps that you need to follow. Brainstorming to gather ideas that you're going to include in your writing. And also after that, you need to outline them, to write them and to specify what are the ideas that you need to provide in your writing. And after that, you need to start writing. But this stage or this step is called drafting. And after that, you need to revise or let somebody else revise what you have written. Okay? And also you need to make editing after revising your writing. And at the end, you need to publish. That means to send or to give your writing to the teacher or to whoever you want to give this writing to. Okay. Also, you need to realize that when we say essay, that means we talk about a group of paragraphs. Paragraph 1, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5. It depends on how many paragraphs you want to write and how many subtitles that you want to include in your writing. But the most important thing is to remember that the first paragraph is an introduction. So you introduce your idea and what you want your reader to know before you start your ideas. Then in the last paragraph, which is sometimes paragraph 5, it depends on, as we said, on the number of paragraphs that you want to write. The last paragraph is a conclusion that you can write your perspective or what you think about the topic that you introduced in the introduction. And each paragraph needs to be well organized also. You start your paragraph with a topic sentence. The first sentence gives a general idea about what the paragraph is going to be about. Then after that, you write supporting sentences where you can defend your idea that you wrote in the topic sentence. And the last one, the ending sentence, or sometimes it's called the conclusion, the sentence that you end your paragraph with. Okay, number 1 here, use phrases to express cause and reasons. Also, we told you about the argumentative writing, when you write argumentative writing, and you need to use some transitional phrases or words like these ones here. These phrases and words are used to express cause and reason, like here we can use because of, since, as, and due to. Also, when you talk about the result, you use the following transitional phrases like for this reason, as a result, consequently, and so on. So you can choose some of these transitional phrases to make a link between sentences in your writing. Okay, that is in the argumentative writing, getting a driver's license in Canada that we studied in the previous lesson. Also in the previous lesson, we ended our class, you remember, about writing, about how to write a paragraph that describes a good driving instructor, what makes a good driving instructor. And we showed you the model answer for this one. And you notice here the first sentence and the last sentence are written in red. Why? To tell you that the first one is an introduction, or we call it a topic sentence, and the last one is a conclusion for the paragraph. Let's read the first one here. A driving instructor is an important job. Here you notice the writer started the paragraph by giving you a general idea about what he or she is going to talk about or is going to write about. So again, a driving instructor is an important job. A good driving instructor should be calm and should be patient with the driving students. Also, a good driving instructor shouldn't talk on cell phone in the car. That is a good example for the student. Okay, and the last one here, this is the conclusion of the paragraph. A good driving instructor must know the driving laws and must not break those laws. Okay, this is the revision of the previous lesson, which is about writing. Our class now is about form, meaning, and function. What are we going to study? We're going to study how to make requests, how to ask somebody to give you something or to help you with something. Okay, and also there is another thing which is called the command. Okay, there is a difference between if you request something if you say it in a command way. Like for example, you can say, give me your pen. Give me your pen. That is a command. So you ask somebody to give you the pen. When you tell somebody to stop, for example, at the intersection, you say stop. Okay, but this is a command. But when you want to make it a request, you can add something. You can add an auxiliary verb that we are going to show you in a while. You can use can, could, will, and would. Okay. For the requests, like for example, as we said here, we can use can, could, will, would for requests. Okay, let's have some examples, and we will show you the request. Then we'll show you the agreeing, when somebody agrees to carry out what he or she has been requested to do, and the refusing also. The first one here, can you help me or could you help me? When you want to ask somebody politely in a good way, you can say, can you help me or could you help me? Both are correct. If he or she agrees, they say, sure, no problem. This is one of the expressions that you can use to show your agreement. And if you refuse, you can say, for example, with apology, you can say, sorry, I can't. Okay, so here, can you help me? Could you help me? When you agree, you say, sure, no problem. When you disagree or when you refuse, you say, sorry, I can't. Okay, another way also to ask other forms of asking for a request or requesting something, will you help me? Or you can say, would you help me? Also, this is the same. And if you want to accept that or to agree, you can say, of course. This is one of the polite way of accepting or agreeing about a request. The refuse also, you say, not now, I'm busy. Okay, this is one of the expressions that you can use. Okay, the requests you can use, as we said here, could and would. But what is the difference between could and would and can and will? Let's read this statement here. Could and would are little more polite than can and will. So if you want to be more polite than if you want to make more polite statement, you can say, for example, could you and would you, because can and will is not as polite as if you use could and would. Okay, like this one here. Could you show me, could you slow down? When you ask somebody to slow down in driving, you can say, would you go faster? You can say also, will you open the window? And you can say, can you turn on the air conditioner? Okay, and the commands here, it is very easy. You can use the verb directly. Okay, like for example here, use the imperative for commands. Okay, like this one here, you want somebody to turn right. You can say, turn right at the intersection. You notice here, we did not precede any kind of auxiliary verb before the command here, before the verb. So we say here, turn right at the intersection. And here, what does this mean? How can you use an imperative verb to give a command? You can say, don't park the car here or there, okay? And the commands here, let's read some statements here. An affirmative imperative begins with the verb in the base form. As we said, you start the imperative, the command, with the verb in the infinitive or in the base form. Okay. A negative imperative begins with don't. Okay. You can say, if you want for somebody to stop, for example, you say stop. If you don't want him or her to stop, you can say don't stop. It is very easy. You give the verb for imperative for the command, and if you want to make a negative command, you can say don't. Okay, directly don't. Affirmative and negative commands for driving rules. Okay, like for example, when you want to give commands like this one, you say obey the speed limit. Okay, this is the speed limit. You can say like that. Obey the speed limit. That means don't exceed the speed limit. Okay, when you say slow down, also, what does this mean? Slow down here, if you are about to reach a school, for example, you need to slow down to avoid hitting some children. Another one here, put on your seat belt. You have to fasten your seat belt or to buckle up, like this one here. You can ask directly as a command, you say, put on your seat belt. Another command also, stop at the intersection. You can see here, we can see an intersection here. And when you reach an intersection, you have to stop completely. So here you ask somebody to stop at the intersection. Be careful. Okay, this is a sign of the be careful. So you give the verb here be in the base form, and it is considered as a command. Don't park on the sidewalk. Okay, here we have a sidewalk here. You are not allowed to park, so we say don't park at the sidewalk. Also, we have this negative command, don't drive over the speed limit. The speed limit is 40, so don't exceed that limit. Next, don't drive recklessly, means carelessly. Don't drive like that. You have to be careful about the bicycles, about the pedestrians, and so on. So don't drive recklessly. And the last one here, don't pass on the right. Okay, don't pass on the right. You are only allowed to pass on the left. So here, this is also a negative command. Also, reporting requests and commands. This is another section of our lesson today, how to tell what you have been told. Like here, look here, let's read how we can make the form of the sentence. You can use ask and tell plus the object and pronoun, or sometimes a pronoun or noun sometimes, and plus the infinitive. Like here, this guy here says, can you help me? Look at the sentence here, the question. It is between quotation. So this is exactly the saying of somebody who said that. My mother asked me. You see here? So the mother said, can you help me? If you want to report that to your friends or to anybody else, you can say it like this. My mother asked me to help her. So here you changed the structure and you removed the quotations and you say, my mother asked me to help her, because this is a request. Okay. Another sentence, turn right, said Umar to his brother. Now this is a command. Look, turn right, and look at the quotations here. That is what Umar said to his brother. So when you want to report what he has said, you can say Umar told his brother to turn right. So when we use the request, we use ask. okay, the verb ask. My mother asked me to help her. When we use the command, we say told. Like here, Omar told his brother to turn right, okay? And here the negative command, don't be late, said their parents. Their parents want their the child to come on time or come early, so they say don't be late. So when you report that, you say their parents told them not to be late. Why do we use told here? Because the past form of the verb tell, because we are using now a negative command, okay? Now reporting request and command, the passenger asked him to slow down. You see here, that is what request be reported, can be reported. The passenger asked him to slow down. The passenger asked him to go faster. We can say also the instructor told him to obey the speed limit. Here we use told because we're using a command. The instructor told him to slow down. So what did he say? He said slow down directly. When you say that the instructor said and you put slow down between quotations, which indicates that this is exactly what the instructor has said. The instructor told him not to drive recklessly. Also, we can say the instructor told him not to pass on the right. Okay? Now we move to the first exercise, exercise A, that is on page 21, report the requests and commands. Okay? Now, number one, put on your seat belt. This is a command, as you can see here. The father said to his children. How can we report this sentence? It is, as we said, it's a command. So we can say here, the father told his children to put on their seat belts. Okay? Notice here we use told because it is a command. Number two, would you drive us to the airport? That is the quotation. That is exactly what was said. Abdullah's cousin asked him. Okay, so this is a request. It's not a command. Abdullah's cousin asked him to drive them to the airport. Okay, so notice here we use to and the base form, which is called the infinitive. Please don't drive so fast, the woman said to her husband. The woman told her husband not to drive so fast. So when we have a negative, command, we can use not to. Okay. Number four, don't ride your motorcycle in the rain, said the mother to her son. We can report it like this. The mother told her son not to drive his motorcycle in the rain. Number five, could you please fill up the gas tank? Okay, who said that? The man asked the gas station attendant. And when we report this sentence, we can say, or this question, the man, or this request, the man asked the gas station attendant to fill up the gas tank. If it is in the negative, don't fill up the tank. We can say not to fill. Okay, not to fill the gas tank. Number six, can you check the brakes? Ahmed asked the mechanics. They don't work well. You can say Ahmed asked the mechanic to check the brakes. Okay, the last exercise of our class today is exercise B, as you can see here. What did the driving instructor say? Write the requests and commands. We will read a paragraph, as you can see here, and we can find out some requests and some commands that the instructor gave to the driver. I had my third driving lesson yesterday. Okay, notice here what we said in the beginning of this lesson, how the writer introduced the topic sentence. I had my third driving lesson yesterday. So that means that the writer is going to tell us in details about his driving lesson and what happened in there. Because notice also the tense that he used, which is the past. I had, and the time phrase here, which is yesterday. It was the first time I drove on the highway. The driving instructor told me to turn onto a highway carefully. He asked me to drive faster, so I sped. The sped, that means I had more speed. There was a truck moving slowly in front of me. He told me not to tailgate. What do you mean by tailgate? That means to go closer to the car that is in front of you. So I passed the truck. Then he told me to watch out for the motorcycles. Okay, to be careful about the motorcycle. I changed lanes quickly to avoid the motorcycles. He changed the way that he is driving the lanes that are between lines, and he changed it to another line. Then the driving instructor asked me to pull over and to stop the car because I was driving dangerously. According to the instructor, he was driving carelessly or recklessly. What did I do wrong? So he's asking now, what is the thing that he did wrong? If you read again, you will find out that he is reckless. He is careless. Okay, he doesn't he's not careful enough to drive a car, especially in the highway. Now here told me to turn onto the highway. So this is a command. How can we use the command here? Turn onto the highway carefully. As we said before, we need to get out the commands that the instructor told the driver. Okay. Another one asked me to drive faster. Here, because we used ask in the verb here, ask. That means it is a request. It's not a command. Could you drive faster? Would you drive faster? Can you drive faster? And will you drive faster? All of these sentences or requests are correct. The next told me not to tailgate. Okay, how can we change it into direct speech? Don't tailgate. Okay, it is a command or a negative command. Next told me to watch out for the motorcycles. Also, this is a command, so we can change it into watch out for the motorcycles. Another request here asked me to pull over. So here, notice asked me to pull over. That means to stop the car and get out from driving. Here we use it as what? Think of it. So we use it as a request. So we should precede the question with a modal verb like could, would, will, or can. So we can say here, could you pull over? Would you pull over? Can you pull over? Or will you pull over and stop the car? Okay. And by this we come to the end of our class today. Thank you for watching and see you inshallah in our next episode. Goodbye.